Hey everybody, I've got a very informal video today. I've got some beer even with me. I've got a couple people to thank for that. We'll get to that in a second. I bought one fancy beer and then a whole lot of just hydration beer. If I don't say everything I want to say before I'm done with this one. Anyways, I'm going to mostly wing it. And today I'm just going to talk about basically how much money I made last year with this whole kind of YouTube experiment in my life. There's a few other channels that I follow that do this sort of thing. And as someone kind of getting into the game, I thought it was really helpful. So I thought I'd kind of reciprocate and make one of these as well. Let me think. Let me see what I got here on the... All right. So I think we'll just get right to it, I guess. Right off the bat, the total amount of money I made through YouTube last year was $2,733.20. And the day I monetized is actually March 23rd. So if we had like extrapolated that as if I had been able to make money all year and not missed like those first 3.5 months or so, then I would have made $3,525 about, but the actual total is $2,733.20. So that's how much money I made last year. So let's break that down a little bit. Right. So I guess what I probably should have said as well is I'm going to first just talk like hard numbers. And if this bores you, then, it's not related to making anything today. Maybe it's kind of like a look behind the curtain as to the functioning of YouTube or like trying to become a monetized creator on YouTube. But we're not going to make anything today. I'm basically going to rattle off some numbers, and probably use some acronyms that I don't even know what they mean. I just kind of know what they mean from my pocketbook. And afterwards, I'll just say some like maybe philosophical things about how this whole experience has been going. So, all right, so let's break down that $2,733. Right off the bat, $2,146.69 of that was from like YouTube revenue, and that gets split up into several different categories. $1,935 of that was from ads and like long format videos. So that's like before, in the middle, and like, I'm not sure, pop-up ads maybe. So that was the bulk of that money. That's where that came from. $171 of that was from premium subscribers watching. So like if you have no ads on YouTube, I still get just a tiny little of a cut if you've subscribed to YouTube Premium. $38.36 was from super thanks. And then at the end of the year, I put out just I think maybe three shorts that made me just over $2. That's kind of an experiment at the end of the year to see if that would generate any momentum. Then the next income category I have really is Amazon affiliate sales. That was just over $541. So that's like in the description of my videos, I'd put a link to Amazon. And if someone bought the thing, then I would get just a little bit of a commission. And then late in the year, I started a Buy Me a Coffee page. Buy Me a Coffee is sort of like YouTube Super Thanks, except instead of YouTube keeping 30% of it, Buy Me a Coffee keeps just a couple percent. And that actually made me $45.45. And those were kind of my major income categories. If you are starting a channel, I think it would be good to note that things like partnering with companies, corporate sponsorships, free tools, that category for me is $0. I think the only leverage my channel got me is late in the year, I reached out to actually a solar panel company. There's going to be a video coming out about that quite soon. And they gave me a small discount on their product. I didn't get anything for free. I don't think I deserved anything for free, but I think I've seen a lot of maybe woodworking maker channels at about my level, and I feel like they had something to show in this category. So we'll circle back around to that $0 later, but that category, I had a couple companies, both from like automotive accessories, like headlamps and stereos, reach out to me, and then like some companies that like sell CNCs and stuff. They all seem to me to be just like totally kind of no-name Chinese crap companies, and I just did not want, I feel like it would have watered down my channel. It's not what I want in the long run. And again, we'll circle back to that at the end of the video. So a couple more comments about some of these income categories. First off, I do want to thank a few people right now. I think I'm not very good at demonstrating gratitude or like really making much time for like audience participation. But in November, how I said I started that Buy Me a Coffee page, like within days of starting that, 2 people actually gifted me $25 each. That's where that $45 after Buy Me a Coffee took their percentage. That's where that $45 came from. One was a mystery person, anonymous, and the other one is someone named Pat McAllister. I know she's left some really positive comments on my videos before, and I like greatly appreciate that. I thought I would just take this moment to kind of give her a shout out. You know, that's like, it's really humbling, especially after you've had a few beers, that like someone would just like randomly pay you for this kind of like doing this kind of work. So I really appreciate that. That is always just like a real boost to the heart, because often it can just kind of feel like, you know, when the only thing otherwise judging your performance is the algorithm, that can be kind of brutal at times. So Pam, thank you. And this other person, thank you. Cheers. And then the funny thing is that after those two came in, I didn't get anything more for the year. So that was about, I think, mid-November, I started my Buy Me a Coffee. So we'll see. That might grow. I can't quite commit to a Patreon. I feel like I've got too much of this stuff going on in life to tell people to like give me money recurringly every month, when at this point I can't foresee actually delivering something meaningful to them every week or every month if they pay me that extra money. So at this point, Buy Me a Coffee seems simpler, because it's just like a one-time donation without the percentages taken by YouTube. But then when we talk about that YouTube, they have the super things function, and this was like, I'm not sure, less than 20 days after monetizing. I mean, like tons of stuff is going on. I'm super excited. My channel kind of grew very quickly at the start. Some guy named Wayne Terrapelli actually super thanked me $50. Unfortunately, with YouTube's percentages, I only got $35 of that. But you can imagine, like, I mean, this was, you know, I was like a virgin at prom or something, you know? I was like, wow, some dude just gave me $50. And then, you know, like, it's kind of how this whole YouTube thing goes, is you get these glimpses of hope between otherwise just really having to keep your, like, nose down to grindstone and just, like, plugging away and hoping something will catch. Because maybe there's, like, a fishing analogy there. We'll come back to that as well. But anyways, I received that $35 from his super thanks. Thank you, Wayne. And then for the entire rest of the year, I mean, that was back in early April, I made $3.36 otherwise in super thanks. So, you know, so it's just funny to like ride those highs briefly and then just kind of like come back to reality. So, but those people, those three people, I mean, I just got to give them a shout out. That, you know, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel, kind of, I don't know. It was an optimistic, those were like really optimistic and like happy moments of like kind of being fulfilled by this, which is silly to put a dollar bill behind that. But I think anyone who's ever like worked in a trade or like ever made something, like there's a genuinely, you know, everyone's mom is like, oh, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Can you build me one? But when you actually start to get customers that are willing to pay for your product, I mean, that's just a reality. Like you need that in life, and it's just, it's uplifting and it kind of makes this feel like maybe one day it'll all work out. So, so anyways, I think that's all I had on that page, on notes on that. But let's keep going. I've got just a couple more comments. First one is about Amazon affiliate sales. I don't have a whole lot of advice here. You know, I think that number is actually more than I would have like bet money on at the start of the year that I will make off affiliate sales. For a small channel creator, I think I really struggle between making videos that just feel sleazy, like they're trying to sell you something, and then actually coming across genuine, that the product I'm trying to sell has a, you know, I actually recommend it. Like I've actually worked with it for a long time. And of course I want the affiliate money. I mean, like I can't just go broke, you know, $2,700. If that was my only source of income, I would be well under the poverty line here. But I really just struggle with that whole thing to like not look like a sleazy car salesman while still being able to show the product. So I think there's even videos where I'm like, man, I could go through and like list all these tools I used, but I think people, like that's not what I want the video to be about. If I want the video to be about the build and not the like the tool, then sometimes I'll just choose to leave that stuff out of the comments. So that's just, I think any channel maker, content creator struggles with that. So that, I think my only other thing I've got here is, I think twice this year, Amazon sent me an email that was like, if you sign up for this random thing, we'll like up your percentages temporarily. Like there was a pretty good one around Christmas. And then slightly earlier in the year, I think like tools sales went from like 4% to like 6%. So I just say if you're a creator and got an affiliate link thing, just keep your eye out for those when those come. I feel like Amazon gave me kind of like one small email about them. They weren't like, you know, they probably don't want me to see them. But anyways, that promotion helped me a bit. So keep your eye out for that. And then like, let's just come back to the YouTube thing. That is like the bulk of the income. The honest thing about my channel is my RPM, which is basically how much money I get for every 1,000 views. I think it's like, it's lower than I anticipated. For the whole year, I'm at $4.42. And part of this is I think my channel, you know, was growing very slowly, like a handful of new viewers a day or subscribers a day. And then I put out a video about lightweight cabinets, and in a very brief period of time, I, you know, like within, I'm not sure, within this like random 24-hour period, I went from, like I suddenly met the guidelines to monetize, but then it still took like 3 days to actually get approved for the program. So I had all these views during those 3 days. And immediately once commercials got introduced to it, I could see like a sharp drop off in videos. But basically, if you look at my data from March, it's a little skewed. It puts my RPM at $1.62. But even the rest of it, like I never broke. 1 month I broke $6. I feel like a lot of other channels in kind of the woodworking DIY marketplace are like in the $6, $8, $9 range. So I don't exactly know why I'm not marketable. We'll come back to that a little bit, but you know, that would obviously help. I think my videos tend to be fairly advanced in the grand scheme of thing. Like I'm not interested in making very basic videos, and I don't know if that just means that somehow the algorithm Jesus is not monetizing my videos very well, but that is what it is. We'll come back to that, whether, like, you know, how much do I care to change that, I guess. And then the only other thing I'd like to point out is I made a little graph here. I've got it on my little clipboard here too. You know, I took 3 months off in the middle of the year. Basically, I had a lot of other work, and then I had some just like other things I wanted to get done in life. And I didn't know if taking those 3 months off would really hurt me. It definitely did not help grow my channel. I didn't have some like random thing take off that I made a bunch of money those months. But when I kind of plotted how much money I made per month compared to how many videos I put out that month, like thankfully the trend line is slightly positive. It would be really depressing if it was negative, basically meaning the less I post, the better it's doing. But like you look at that R-square value, I mean, this is like high school, you know, science report level. This is not like real statistics or anything, but it's thankfully slightly positive, but the R-square value means there's basically no correlation. So I think if you're struggling, you know, I think it takes work to get above the noise. You got to put out good videos. But if you're suddenly at a place in life where you're like, man, I just got too much going on, the amount of things I have going on is making this not fun, I don't think it's the end of the world to just abandon for a couple months. That's something that I knew might happen last year, and I think it actually might happen again this year. So that's why I am hesitant to set up things like a Patreon, because I just don't know if at this point I can deliver. But yeah, anyways, I'll put up a screenshot right now of this whole spreadsheet. You know, I've just got how many videos I made per month, then I've got my shorts, how many new subscribers I gained in the month, and then just my income month by month. I'll just put that up on the thing right now. You're looking at it. If you would like to dig into that, go ahead and just pause it and read into it. So, all right. Man, I'm going to get this whole thing done within a beer. All right, so I've got a few things to say about some like philosophical, like going forward things in case you're a creator. I think many people kind of find the same struggles, but it's like, it's difficult. Like, where do I voice them, right? Like, I'm not going to, it's really hard to connect, I think, sometimes with people in life, especially if you're mainly doing something else in life, but suddenly you've decided to try to make a channel because whatever you were doing before was burning you out. So I don't know much about YouTube success, and honestly, people that are actually making a full-time living off this, they have figured it out better than I have. Like, I'm not, maybe by this next year, I'll have enough so I can at least like cover all my bills, but at this point, I just don't get the algorithm. I think that's my first thing, like take-home messages. Sometimes I'll put out a video that I half-assedly put together, I didn't really care about, and it seems to do great. You know, great for me is not meaning that suddenly I'm making thousands of dollars, but compared to my previous videos or like videos, it's doing really well. And I don't understand why. And then I'll just pour my heart and soul into like a multi-week project that then I like summarize in like a half-hour video, and it completely tanks. And that's really disheartening. I feel like unlike projects in the shop where like if I build a piece of furniture in here and like I know that the more time I spend on it, like refining the design, working, you know, building a thing, I'm going to have something tangible to take away from it that I'm like really proud of. It pushed my skills. This whole video thing, man, you can feel like you're killing yourself to try to get something to work out, and you just have no idea how it's going to be, taken up by the algorithm. You just like send it out there, and it's really hard not to feel attached or have some expectation of how it will perform, but it's heartbreaking. I feel like the videos I cared most about this year did not do well, and that is difficult, but you just gotta kind of keep that nose down and hope that the next one will do better. So I think that's my first lesson to anybody getting into this, is that it's impossible to predict what will happen. You can play the thumbnail game, you can try to have shocking titles, but anyways, that's the first thing that's the first thing. I would also tell makers that not to underestimate the amount of time that creating a video will take. I think if you did like a video like this every week, this is going to be easy. I mean, I think I'm going to it's before the end of the night, this will probably go up tomorrow morning, because just filming a monologue like this, cutting out some parts where maybe you got tongue tangulated, takes a little bit of work. But actually like setting up a complex project where you're like, all right, what parts of this do I actually have to explain to like relay my logic? That, just the prep work to figure out what you got to shoot. And if you don't prep enough, you just find yourself taking hours and hours of footage in the shop because you're not exactly sure what the point of what you're filming is. And then in the editing process, you're like, man, what was I even trying to capture? So I think if I'm getting scatterbrained here. Woodworking for Mere Mortals, I think Steve Ramsey, I remember hearing one of his videos that he honestly gets one day in the shop with the other days of the work week basically spent upkeeping his channel. And that, sorry, that's the air compressor. That seemed unbelievable to me at first. I thought, no way. But now it's like, if I have a project that I think will take me 2 days to build, but I decided to film it, it will honestly be like 4 to 5 days of work when you take in the prep work, how much you're slowed down working to like actually get the camera angles, like doing voiceovers, doing intros, and actually editing the whole thing, uploading it. I can't believe how much it slows me down. Like just the other week, I thought I had a quick and easy video, but I like flooded my hard drive. And by the time I like got to the store, got another hard drive, had some other, just like, suddenly I'm trying to copy like 3 gigabytes across to this ancient backup hard drive. Like suddenly you like got these roadblocks that are eating up half your day, and you're just like pulling your hair out because you're like, this is not what I thought would be happening. So don't underestimate how long filming takes. At one point in my life, I kind of reflected, or I kind of looked at all the channels I really enjoyed, and I tried to summarize why I enjoy those channels. And I think the common theme between them, like I really like a few like off-road recovery channels. I like a couple guys who play bass guitar. I don't even play bass guitar, but I think what I enjoy watching is, I would say, people who are in love with the craft or the activity they're presenting, and not just in love with themselves. I mean, it totally makes sense, right? If you have someone who doesn't want to be on camera, and you have someone who really wants like the adoration and like affirmation of being on camera, who's more likely to put videos or content on the internet? The person who is like seeking that. But I think that people I really enjoy watching are just really passionate about their craft. So whether or not they decided to turn on a camera to try to monetize from it or not, they would be doing that thing. That's what I try to remember, is like, I hope my passion for the craft, even though it's often not very happy, I enjoy making stuff. I enjoy kind of pushing my limits in the shop, and I hope that that comes through. All right, so kind of T-boning, or what's the word? Kind of segueing off that. I don't want to be a lifestyle channel. I think if you're a creator, it's totally fine to compartmentalize, or it should be okay. I feel like a lot of people, like when I think back on this last year, there's a lot of other pursuits that have not been on this channel. They've not been on my Instagram, and I don't know, maybe I'm just like wired in some back-ass way, but when I think of like the most profound moments of the last year, and I imagine trying to suddenly like put a camera in my face to capture them, it would completely take away like the gravity of the moment, both in terms of like being super happy in moments or just like being super devastated. Like when I thought about this before, I think the only time I ever really captured something this year that was a truly genuine emotion was like when I went to get my van weighed. And like that was a hard day for me because I'd sunk months into this project, and it didn't turn out how I wanted. So I just feel like, for me, I just can't function in a way where I just like have this lifestyle channel where I share everything. And I think I'd like to just keep that like raw emotion I have in those other things in life. So anyways, I thought I had a place to land that, but that's it. All right. Oh, so the reason I want to say that though is, I guess I got that got really dark. The takeaway from that was supposed to be that I think it would actually help my channel to like actually start using my Instagram, or just like interact with people a bit. Like I think I have a lot of anxiety about just like interacting with people I don't know, and there are some people that have been just amazing in the comments. And I think I've read a lot of them, and I really appreciate it. But I apologize to those people that I couldn't reciprocate that, or I didn't make the time to reciprocate it. Okay, I've just got one more thing left to say. Man, I'm gonna get through this in less than one beer. So, all right, very early when I started out this channel, I told a friend that, like, there's that old, I'm not sure, it's not an adage, philosophy about like give a man a fish versus teach a man to fish. I had told him, I think there's channels that give a man a fish, there's channels that teach a man to fish, and I just want to make a channel where I show you cool fishing spots. That's like that would be a dream come true, is if I could somehow make this work out where, you know, there's literally days where I'll spend just like splitting hairs on some small design process, and I don't even know how I would fully convey that in a video. You know, I will search the depths of the internet for like some random thing, but that would be the ultimate. I think right now I'm very much like most of the subscribers I got came from like the lightweight cabinet building, which I absolutely think I hope to make more videos about. I think I've got a lot of things I'd like to say about it, but I mean that would be the ultimate dream, is just have a video, like a channel where whatever thing I'm interested in that week, we're gonna make a video about it. So anyways, that was just a bit of a like closing thoughts for the year. You know, I would say I'm pretty excited to like continue this experiment for 2023. I feel like I've got more of like a reality check of what this will actually be like. You know, the first couple months, you're just flying high, you know, everything seems exciting and new. And now it's like, it's good to get to work. Anyway, so I hope you guys stick around. I'd like everybody to know I truly appreciate their support, even if I'm not, you know, like good at expressing it. So thanks guys for watching. And yep, hopefully there'll be another video like this next year. If there's not, that probably means I've either totally quit or actually made so much money that I'm embarrassed to admit it. So if that's where things come to, then I guess I'm fine with either way. Thanks guys. Cheers.